Bundys Garage Bundy here. Hey, today I'm going to show you a hack that you can do to quickly change out the valve cover gaskets on a J-Series Honda or Acura J-Series V6 engine. This will cover from 1998 to 2009, 2010, 2011. We're actually doing this work on a 2000 Honda Accord with a 3.5 liter VTEC engine. So what you'll need is, I'm not going to do the oil tube seals, but it's best bet if you do. So you need two valve cover gaskets. Got this from Honda. Part number is, let's see, the part number is 12341-P8A-A00. Cost me about 14 bucks. So I'm going to show you a hack, how to do this very quickly. Very quickly. You don't have to take the intake plenum off. You don't have to take the throttle body off. You don't take any of this stuff off. We're just going to push it out of the way. So the first step will be to take out all 6 12mm bolts and three nuts down there, 12mm. So let's do that real quick. I'll fast forward so I don't bore you with that. Find my tools here. As you can see, we have all the nuts and bolts out of the intake manifold. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab it here from the left-hand side, passenger side. We're going to pull it up, clear this stud here, clear these 2 studs here. If you have a thin piece of wood, you're going to need a thin piece of wood or a barrier of some type. An old cutting board would work. A piece of cardboard would probably work. Say that 10 times fast. Piece of cardboard would probably work. Piece of cardboard would probably work. The key with the wood is just to protect these studs from getting damaged, the threads on there. And then once we do that, so all the bolts and nuts are out, we're going to pull this up, we're going to slide this in, and push this kind of out of the way so that you can get access to the front and rear valve covers. I did the rear one a couple nights ago because it was leaking oil very badly. I need to do the front one because it's leaking oil as well. It actually drips down here. Gets onto the exhaust manifold, which is right there, and you can just smell burning oil, so not a good thing. So let's do that right now. Show you how that's done. Okay, so I'm left hand, grab here, with the right hand guide it up past the studs. Okay, got that up. Bring in the piece of wood, cover those studs, and have the intake rest on it. Okay. So now you have access to the bolts here for the valve cover. You can see one right here, top one there, top one right here, 2 on the side, and then 2 on the bottom, which are easy to get to. Take off this cover, turn those at a 90-degree angle, pull that up and out. Next what you need to do is remove the coil electrical connectors. These are the coil packs. You need to get the connectors out of the way. This will be exactly the same on the rear as well. Okay, now we're going to have to take these 2 10mm bolts off right here and then take off the coil packs. It's a 6mm Allen wrench down there. Okay, with your coil packs all disconnected, you can just go ahead and take this connector and push it up off to the side. Now we'll do the coil packs next. Like I said, a 6mm Allen wrench. We'll get those loose. I have a 6mm Allen 3/8 socket here. So if you see oil down here on the boot, that means your oil tube seals are leaking. I'll show you that in 1 second. And so you want to replace them. I'm actually not going to replace the oil tube seals right now, but if you're doing this for the first time, you probably should. The reason I'm doing this is because I installed an inferior valve cover gasket, which started leaking after 40,000 miles, after about 1 year. So I have to go in there and replace it with a Honda valve cover gasket. That's why I'm using Honda. I'm not going to use any aftermarket stuff on this. I was trying to save some money, but it bit me in the end. So your best bet is always go with a OEM Honda gasket. The reason I like doing it this way, because you don't have to take off any of the coolant lines. You don't have to take out the idle air control valve connector, throttle position sensor, the was that the MAF, any of this stuff. You just leave all that connected to the snorkel, your throttle body, and then your intake. And then when you have to do the backside, you just grab it and pull the intake towards you, and it gives you room to access all 5 10mm bolts for the valve cover. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's loosen up all 5 valve cover 10mm bolts and get this thing up and out of there. All the bolts are the same except for this top middle one on this valve cover, and on the same side, on the other side, the same position. This is the only short one that you're going to have. So keep that in mind when you reinstall them. So then right here on the right hand side of the screen, you have your fresh air intake duct. You need to get a pair of pliers, push, squeeze that, get that out of the way, and pull this hose out. So that's free. Your valve cover should be free and clear to come up. So right here you can see there's a little bit of oil, not very much, but if it's all the way across, kind of like in this situation right here, where it's all the way across the valve cover gasket, that means it's leaking. So I'll install the new valve cover gasket and put everything back the same. So I want to clean up the mating surface as well as possible. So come down here with a rag, clean all this up. Watch your fingers on this. This is aluminum. You run your finger across that fast enough, you will cut yourself wide open like a razor blade. Now if you need to adjust the valve lash right here on the intake side, this is the exhaust side. If you need to adjust the valve lash, now is a good time to do it when you have everything open and accessible. And I'll put a link in the description below where you can actually see where I do a short video on how to adjust the valve lash on a J series Honda V6. Here are your oil tube seals right here. They seem pretty pliable, so I'm actually not going to mess with them, but if it was the first time that I'd ever done this, then I would go ahead, I would replace all 3 of them with Honda oil tube seals. Like I said, I did it not that long ago, and looking at the coil packs, there doesn't seem to be any oil on the boot, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave these alone for right now. If I notice that the coil packs have oil on them, I will go ahead and come back in here, replace the oil tube seals as well with Honda ones. See where all the oil is coming out? Let's try to clean that up for a second. This thing is ridiculously hard. What a joke. Should have never gone with a inferior valve cover gasket. Joke. Throw that sucker right into the trash. Okay, let's bring out our new beautiful Honda valve cover gasket 12341-P8A-A00. Alright, right here there's little nubs, little nipples here. Those actually go into the ridge onto the valve cover gasket, so make sure those go down. Start installing it here. Don't force it in, just lay it down in. Go around the corners, take your time. Make sure it's all the way down. Push down in all areas of the gasket. You don't want this thing falling out when you flip it over and put it back onto the block, or I should say onto the head. I'm not going to bore you with installing this back into place. Just make sure your head is clean here. Make sure you have this gasket all the way in. Go ahead, use a Honda valve cover gasket if you can. If you haven't never changed these oil tube seals, go ahead, change these oil tube seals as well. Installation is the reverse of removal. You have specs for the valve cover and for the upper intake manifold. I'll put a link in the description below or at the end of the video of a 1-hour video how I show you how to do this, and also put a link to the valve lash adjustment down here, adjusting valves on a Honda J Series V6. So there you go, there's the hack. Just keep in mind you don't have to take off all the snorkel, the throttle body, the intake, upper intake manifold, none of that. Just leave that in place. take your bolts off on top here. Just move it out of the way, move it forward to do the front, move it towards you to do the rear valve cover gasket. If you have found any of my videos helpful, and when I mean helpful, if they've saved you money, please consider subscribing to Bundys Garage on YouTube. It really helps me out. Questions, comments, concerns, you can always email me at bundysgarage@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Bundys Garage. And like always, I'll keep them rolling for you.